In this video, we'll show how to create and edit basic flight plans in the AOPA Internet Flight Planner. We'll begin by creating a simple direct flight, then modify that flight to include a few waypoints. To start a new flight plan, click on the Route button in the top left toolbar. The window will expand and several menu items will be visible. Since this will be a new flight plan, let's select the new item from the list. This will open the Load Route window, which allows us to create a new flight plan or load a previous flight plan. At the top of this window, there's a checkbox titled Public Use Airports Only. This checkbox restricts the integrated airport search function to only return public use airports if the box is checked. This is helpful to limit the search results and make finding the desired airport easier. The next two fields we see are departure and destination. These fields have built-in automatic search functionality, so you can enter identifiers, airport names, or city and town names to locate the airport. The fields support both 3- and 4-character airport identifiers. For this flight, we'll enter the ICAO identifier Kilo Charlie X-Ray Yankee in the departure field to begin our plan. That will do a search and locate Capital City Airport in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. In the destination field, we'll enter the city name of Ocean City. Since there is more than one Ocean City, the flight planner will display a search result list prompting us to select the actual airport we are searching for. From this list, we'll click on Ocean City Municipal in Ocean City, Maryland for our destination, and then click the Select button. After entering these airports, verify that the correct airport name is displayed directly below each one of the airport fields. These names are also direct links that will take you to the airport details page in the AOPA Airports online directory. The next field is for selecting the aircraft we will be using for this flight. If you only have one aircraft stored in the flight planner, then this aircraft will be listed here by default. If you have more than one aircraft stored, then whatever aircraft you have set as your default aircraft will be selected automatically. If you wish to change the aircraft for this flight, click the drop-down field and choose the aircraft from the list. Creating new aircraft was covered in video 2 of this tutorial series if you would like to get more information on setting up new aircraft profiles. For this flight, we'll select November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a Piper Archer from this list. The next field is for selecting our desired altitude. This can always be changed later, but we'll go ahead and set this to 5,500 since we're planning a VFR flight. You can manually type in this field or use the up-down arrow buttons to change the altitude. The next setting is for routing. This list will allow us to choose direct, low airways, or high airways. Direct will provide us a great circle route, while using one of the airway options will plan the shortest route using low or high airways. Note that the shortest route is calculated based on distance, not time. Since we're planning on modifying this flight anyway, we'll just select direct. We can then choose either VFR or IFR for our flight rules. Since we've already checked the weather and know it's going to be a nice day for our trip to the beach, we'll use VFR for this flight. The last field is our departure date and time. Time is entered in Zulu and then converted to local time for us automatically below the field. While you can enter any day or time in the future, the system can only provide a weather briefing for flights that are within the next 24 hours. You can manually type in this field or use the up-down arrows to adjust the day and time. The arrows increment the time in 15-minute intervals. This is added to the time that is already displayed in the time box. If you manually enter the day and time, ensure that you use the format as displayed in the box before you start. Before we create this flight, take note of the Open Automatically checkbox at the bottom of the Load Route window. This will set the Load Route window to open automatically the next time you open the flight planner. Unchecking this option will prevent the Load Route window from opening every time you launch the flight planner. Now that we have our flight parameters entered, all we have to do is click the Plan Route button at the bottom. This will create the flight plan and zoom out automatically to display the entire flight plan route. Now that we have a direct flight to Ocean City, we can see that it's going through some special use airspace, so we'll want to get a closer look at this airspace to see if we should plan to avoid it. Let's zoom in first so we can get a better look. To zoom into a specific area, select the Marquee Zoom tool from the toolbar on the right and use your mouse to draw a box over the area you want to zoom in on. Now that we're zoomed in, we can see our route line goes through several different airspaces. To get additional information about that airspace, we can use our right mouse button and click on an area of interest. Choose Get Info on What's Here from the menu to see more details. A window opens and shows us all the information about the area we clicked. This can include terminal airspace, special use airspace, nav aids, airports, TFRs, and obstacles. As we can see here, there's a lot going on in this area, so we're probably best served if we just avoid it altogether. Let's close the search results window and edit our flight plan. To adjust our route line, we can simply click and drag the route line and drop it on any area of the map. If there are multiple airports or nav aids in that general area, we'll be prompted to select which one we want to add to our route. If there is only one airport or nav aid in the area, the flight planner will add it to our route without prompting. If no airports or nav aids are in the area you dropped the route line, the flight planner will provide the option to create a user-defined waypoint in that location. We'll cover user-defined waypoints in more detail in a later video. For now, we'll drag and drop our route line on Kilo Echo Victor Yankee Summit Airport in Middletown, Delaware. The route line snaps to KEVY and Summit Airport is now added to our flight plan. Our route now avoids that special use airspace altogether. Another method to add a waypoint to our route is by conducting a search. Let's add the Smyrna VOR by using the search box in the upper right of the flight planner. As we learned in the previous video, it's always best to check the search parameters for this search before we enter our criteria. Click on the small arrow next to the Go button and make sure the appropriate items are enabled to be included in our search. Since we know we are searching for a VOR, let's click the VORs to enable that item. Now we'll click back in the search box and type the name of the VOR, Smyrna. Click on the Go button to the right or use the Enter key on your keyboard to start the search. From the search results window, there are a few different ways to add the VOR to our route. We can right-click on the Smyrna VOR and select Add Smyrna VOR to Route. We can use the orange Add Route button at the bottom, or simply press the Enter key on our keyboard with the VOR selected. Either of these methods will accomplish the same result. Let's zoom out now and see our entire route. On the right toolbar, click the Zoom to Route button to set the zoom level to include our entire route. Now that our route is all done, we can save it to be used again. Please note that flight plans are not automatically saved when you close the flight planner, so make sure you remember to save the route before closing the browser or tab if you want to load the same route again for any reason. In addition, any changes you make to the stored route must also be saved or your changes will not be retained. To save our route, click the Route menu button in the upper left toolbar and choose the Save As menu item. This will open the Save Route window and allow us to either accept the default name or rename it to something we choose. Let's name it Trip to Beach. The flight plan will now be saved in our stored route list for future use. This concludes the Creating and Editing Basic Flight Plans video. In the next video, we'll look at more advanced flight planning features including user-defined waypoints, reversing routes, rearranging waypoints, and the route profile view. Thanks for watching.